Hey, how's it going everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula, and welcome to today's Pokémon GO video. So, it's been about a week since the Daily Adventure Incense was introduced into Pokémon GO, and a lot of players have been looking forward to getting any of the 3 Galarian Legendary Birds. Considering that they only spawn from this daily free item, a lot of players have had their expectations really high towards catching any of these legendary Pokémon. The big problem is that they are extremely difficult to get, let alone even spawn. So the purpose of this video will be to look at the exact data regarding the Galarian Legendary Birds, more specifically their spawn rate as well as their catch rate, so that you could temper your expectations regarding these legendary birds. Alright, so with that said, let's roll the intro and get right into it. Okay, let's dive into the legendary birds. So, I've talked about these 3 legendary Pokemon ad nauseum on my channel, more specifically whether or not they are meta relevant or if they are going to be something really good for Pokemon GO in the future, so I'm not necessarily going to be talking about that. But today I'm going to be looking specifically at their spawn rate as well as their catch rate, so that if you are looking for any of these legendary birds, you can temper your expectations based on this data. Before I get started, I have to tell you that your expectations for catching any of these legendary Pokemon should be extremely low. Not only do they have an abysmally low spawn rate, but their catch rate is also extremely low as well. So even if you come across any of these Galarian Legendary Birds through the Daily Adventure Incense, chances are it will run away after the first ball. So let's first talk about that. The Galarian Legendary Birds have a base catch rate of 0.3%. Now just to put it into perspective, legendaries that you encounter from raids have a 2% base catch rate, so it's going to be a lot easier to catch a legendary from a raid battle than it would be for any of these Galarian Legendary Birds. Now assuming you do everything you can to increase your catch rate, like using an Ultra Ball, a Golden Raspberry, having the corresponding Platinum Medals of the Galarian Legendary Bird, and then of course an excellent Curveball throw, you're still looking at only about an 8% chance of catching that Pokemon on that ball. Now of course, the catch rate is going to be significantly higher depending on the level of the Galarian Legendary Bird. If it is only level 1, then your chances are going to be much higher, but it is still not going to be 100%, so do keep that in mind. With all of the things that I mentioned earlier, your chances are going to be about 35% if the Galarian Legendary Bird is level 1. Now you might be thinking to yourself that the catch rate is not a big deal. As long as you have multiple chances with multiple different throws, you should be able to eventually catch this Pokemon. Of course, that doesn't necessarily apply to the Galarian Legendary Birds for one specific reason. It has a flee rate of 90%. This means that if you do not catch it on the first ball, you have an extremely high chance that it will run away. So in other words, you need to hit an excellent curveball throw with an Ultra Ball and a Golden Raspberry, and you need the corresponding Platinum Medals for the Galarian Legendary Bird, and you need to do all of that on the first throw. And upon doing that, you will have an 8% chance that it will stay in the ball depending on what level it is. So in the rare chance that you come across any of these Galarian Legendary Birds, then you will need to be completely on point in order for you to actually catch it. But speaking of which, now let's explore what the spawn rate for the Galarian Legendary Birds are. Because what's the point of talking about the catch rate and the flee rate if you're not even coming across these birds in the first place? Well, based on my own personal experiences, I've only come across 2 Galarian Legendary Birds out of a total of maybe about 300 spawns. And of course, this is after doing about 10 days straight of the Daily Adventure Incense. Now there isn't any concrete data regarding the actual spawn rate of the Galarian Legendary Birds, and there's no telling if weather boosts actually affect their spawn rate. From what I can tell, it's completely luck-based, and there's certainly players out there who have also done their daily free Adventure Incense for the last 10 days, and they've seen multiple Galarian Legendary Birds spawn in their area. But there's also another subset of players who have done the daily Adventure Incense for the last 10 days, and they have yet to see even one Galarian Legendary Bird. Take this with a grain of salt, but my guess is that the spawn rate is somewhere between 1 in 100 and 1 in 200. With a spawn rate like this, you are likely to see one Galarian Legendary Bird per week, and if you're lucky, you might see 2 or 3. But I would be highly realistic about this. You're not going to see a Galarian Legendary Bird every day. Expect to see maybe 1 or 2 every so often, but don't expect to go into it thinking you're gonna get one all the time. And like I mentioned earlier, even if you do come across any of these Galarian Legendary Birds, don't fully expect to actually catch it, unless you're really good at excellent curveball throws. I really do not think they are meant to be caught by everyone. At this point, I kind of treat them as just a vanity Pokemon, as in, they're Pokemon that are nice surprises as I go through my Daily Adventure Incense, and I don't ever expect to catch any of them through this method. I think the best thing you can do is to just treat the Daily Adventure Incense as just 25 to 30 bonus Pokemon every day, and you shouldn't treat it as a definitive method for getting any of these legendary birds. As much as it would be really nice to catch any of them, you are likely not going to be able to catch them through the Daily Adventure Incense. But I'm very sure that Niantic will eventually release these Galarian Legendary Birds through raid battles, so if you really do want any of these Pokemon, then that will probably be your best method for getting any of them. But like I mentioned in my deep dive video on these Galarian Legendary Birds, they're not even that meta when it comes to PvP and raid battles, so you really shouldn't feel any pressure on catching any of them anytime soon. I think for right now, there's just a little bit of flavor added to the Daily Adventure Incense just to build up some anticipation for using that item, but considering that it's free and it's a daily use, I don't expect Niantic to just hand out legendaries through using it, especially because that would just trivialize PvP and raids. So yeah, keep your expectations low, extremely low for that matter, because you're likely never going to catch any of the Galarian Legendary Birds through the Daily Adventure Incense. That's just the reality of it based on the data, so yeah, I really hope this was something that was helpful for you, because I know a lot of players have been extremely disappointed with the Daily Adventure Incense, but I think it's also because their expectations were set really high by both Niantic as well as content creators like myself. But in any case, yeah, hopefully this will curb some of that, and yeah, I really hope you have fun with the Daily Adventure Incense, because at the end of the day, it is a free item and it's still very rewarding. I know a lot of people have been very positive about this item, and it's because it's motivated them to go out for walks every day, which is something that they weren't necessarily doing before. So if this was Niantic's aim, I think they were very successful with it, but I really do hope that they set the expectations just a little bit better for some of the stuff that players actually want out of these sort of items. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I really hope you ended up enjoying it. If you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that little bell so you stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support my channel in any way, then do consider checking out the links in the description below. But yeah, that's going to be it. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.